I'm your host, Fanboy X. Welcome to another episode of Comicstalk. Today we are talking about Wolverine. I don't want to assume that everybody knows his origin, so I'll give you a brief origin and history of the character, and then some reading recommendations. His name is James Hallett. He was born in the late 1880s. He's from Canada. When he was around 13, he witnessed the death of his stepfather. This triggered his mutant abilities, so bone claws popped out of his hands. Scared the living crap out of him. So later on, him and his cousin end up running away and traveling across Canada. They get a job at like a mining company, logging company, something of that nature. And you see Wolverine eventually see both world wars because of one of his mutant abilities is a healing factor, which allows him to age slowly. So even though he looks like he's about 30 or 40, he is actually 100 years old. Over 100 years old. Eventually he will be, in later years following the World War, he will work as a mercenary. Then later on he's captured by the Weapon X program. They conduct terrible experiments on him, which include grafting adamantium to his skeleton. And wiping his memories and implanting fake ones, turning him into the ultimate killing machine, which they succeed at. He escapes from the Weapon X very brutally, very ferociously. Spends a goodly amount of time wandering around the Canadian wilderness in a feral-like state, which he regains his immunity, and also eventually he will be recruited by Department H. And this brings us to his first appearance, which is in The Incredible Hulk. Issues 80 and 81. Issues 180 and 181. He is sent by Department H, which is a agency of the Canadian government, to try to take down the Hulk. They fight each other to a standstill and end up fighting their common enemy, the Wendigo. Now, the origin I gave earlier with some of the information I gave about his origin earlier is fleshed out in Wolverine Origin. That is one of my reading recommendations, and now I'll show you the rest of them. Let's start off with Wolverine Weapon X, which expands upon the Weapon X portion of his origin. We see him abducted. We'll see him experimented on. This is done by Barry Windsor Smith. He did the story and all the artwork. The speech bubbles are also pretty creative because in most places you read them like this. Just the whole process, all the experiments they conducted on him, all the training they put him through, how they tried to control him, all that. It's a really good story, and I recommend the trade. And eventually, spoiler alert because you knew it was coming, yes, he fights a lion butt naked. He escapes from Weapon X in nothing but his birthday suit. And that's how the story ends, with his escape and him wandering off into the wilderness. The trade collects the covers for the various issues, as well as a flashback sequence that takes place during the time period of the storyline. It's a very beautiful and very brutal story. Recommend Wolverine and Captain America, also in trade, paperback. This sees Captain America, Carol Danvers, and Wolverine, of course, going up against a group of rogue shield assassins called the Contingency. You find out that they were tasked with hunting down mutants. We get some great shots of Logan. It's basically why Warbird and company are after them, is they stole, for lack of a better term, a mutant computer chip. Sounds interesting? Well, you'll have to read the story to find out the full details. But we get this great full-page shot of Logan, Wolverine. So how Logan came about is when him and his cousin escaped, got a job with that company, that mining company. She provided fake names for them, and so his fake name, of course, was Logan. Now this is also included in the Captain America and Wolverine trade paperback. This is Wolverine issue 124. 124. It's a great Wolverine story as well as a great Captain America story. I mean, look at that splash page. Basically, Wolverine and Captain America end up fighting side by side against a group of would-be villains for hire that basically just want to make a name for themselves by taking down Captain America. Simple as that. It's got good artwork, good camera angles, or if you want to call them that, good perspectives. It's excellent. Also recommend Spider-Man vs. Wolverine. This is an amazing story. I won't spoil anything about it. It's just good art. It's a good story. This is Rogue's Mohawk days. Basically, Batman vs. Superman could have taken so many cues from this on how to do a story where two superheroes go head-to-head, aside from Spider-Man. Aside from Civil War. So aside from that story, where else are you going to see the two of them go head-to-head? The cover says it all. So recommend X-Men, a What If Wedding album. This contains why do I recommend this? Because this is a series of what if stories revolving around the wedding of Cyclops and Jean Grey. And one of the what if stories is basically what would have happened if her and Wolverine had actually become an item. The title says it all. So, if you can find this online or whatever, pick it up. I found this one in a pawn shop and I'm very happy with this purchase. Buck. I also recommend Wolverine number 60. And there is a reason I recommend this, aside from it being in my personal collection. And on that note, I should point out that these two trades are not in my personal collection. I got these from my library. But they are good reading. Recommend this one because the cover says it all. Sheba versus Sabretooth, or Shiva, rather. Need we say more? I will say more. Not only do we get to see Sabretooth, Creed, whatever, throw down with the robot known as Shiva, it gives us a glimpse into Sabretooth's past. That includes Wolverine. We also see Wolverine settle a vendetta against the man who killed the woman he loved. And so those are my Wolverine reading recommendations. What do I recommend for Wolverine in media outside of the comics? I recommend the 1990s X-Men series. I recommend for live. I also recommend the X-Men anime. I recommend Season 2 of Avengers Mightiest Heroes. I can't remember what the episode number is, but the title is The New Avengers. Wolverine shows up in that, and spoiler, wipes out a bunch of Velociraptors single-handedly. So those are some of the cartoon recommendations. Live action, I recommend the original X-Men trilogy, and I recommend Logan. So this is Fanboy X signing off. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you'll be able to find some of these great comics and get your Wolverine fix. This is Fanboy X signing off.